What's going on? Long time no see, I know. Very funny. Anyway, so we're going to be playing the Beginner's Guide. The fourth wall breaking, weird ass game that I don't really know much about, but is made by the same guy who made the Stanley Parable. That was a great game. So, how bad could it be? Apart from that, you know, that's about it. Aw, thanks. Someone's got to put something in that Discord. It's boring as hell in there. Anyway. Yeah, it should be fun. Like I said, I don't really know much about this game, so... Let's get to it. Are you really saying hi to each other? Oh, you left Discord? Wow. I'm gone for 5 seconds, you instantly hang up on each other? Jesus. Anyway, let's get this game going. Where is it? Games, Beginner's Guide. There it is. I'm gonna kill that music right now. We're gonna switch over to here. We came to watch. We will talk later. Alright, so like I said, I don't know anything about this game. Never even hit that before. Please make sure audio's on. Is that really necessary? We'll also be making dinner, a bit food, tacos. Yeah, it's something of the Mexican holiday.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide.
You're welcome.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
Okay.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike.
I was gonna say, that
you can
looks
walk
like
around
CSGO.
here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each
Is this a
game is
game or a
loaded, I'll show
goddamn
you the date that it was
monologue?
completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Alright. What's with the square? Kind of annoying. Whoa.
Warning. Whisper machine
Jesus.
shift destruction imminent.
No sound. No sound
This
for the
game is
gun.
called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Fire. Nope, I'm out of ammo. Great.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
Well, that's not good. I don't have any ammo.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For
You don't
instance,
say.
you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
I noticed.
But ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this road.
Why? That's poor development. I'm not liking this so far. Just saying.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Thanks. I guess.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in
No,
the
that's-
engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
You gotta be
So much
shitting
to
me. My
ask, but
headphones
for all
are
of our
dying.
lives. Would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Sure.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Alright.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it.
Hey, there's
Like
a lever.
how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but
It
what's
could
clear
just
is
be
that
a
after
fucking
making
bug.
this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Alright. Yeah, this isn't fun so far. Okay, my reticle became doors. And I can't walk. I can go
Yep.
backwards.
In this game, you can only walk backwards.
That's fucking annoying. That's really annoying. It's like a...
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
This is just annoying. This is like some senior project at a high school art fair.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that.
And it was horrible.
Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
I feel bad for experiencing that. Okay, can't go anywhere but the road.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Right.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Okay, it's getting slower. That's annoying.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
Woohoo! Hey.
Something for playing this weird game, lol.
Damn it, Hayes. Thank you so much. Shit. Thank you, Hayes. Appreciate that. This weird game starting to piss me off. I'm hitting enter. How about this enter? This game is fucking retarded. Now what I do? I crashed the game. I just crashed the game. Thanks, Hayes. Your money crashed the game. Motherfucker. What is this? A little unusual, may get better, but you broke it. Yep, I broke it. Let's try this again.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
A little unusual is an understatement. Hey, look, you got a different.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do? Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
I'm gonna break my fucking keyboard soon. You know how games don't explain things enough? This is one of those things. Exactly the opposite. Yeah. I went from fucking what do you call it? I went from the initiate, where it's just like, haha, good luck, to this game where I'm gonna hold your hand through the whole game. We're gonna have fun. Then we're gonna paint happy trees. Also, your enter key doesn't work. Bullshit. Take that $20 donation and buy a fucking bottle at this rate. Well, looks like we're taking the long way home. So, how's everyone else doing? Because I'm doing fucking great. I'm getting laughed by Grandpa right now. Phew. Damn. Today, Junior. I am awesome at a creepy. Well, good for you, AIDS. I was having a good weekend. I was. It's gone. Yeah. When do we get to the ride? This is the ride. Damn it, what's that from? Damn it. By the time we get to the time since the week will be over. I know, right? Mongoose, what's that from? Come on, I'm drawing a complete blank. Fairly Odd Parents, that's it. Escalator World. Come on. Come on. Come on. Enter still don't work. No. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh, hung up on the door. Oh, there we go. Come on. I wonder if this is a glitch or they're purposely fucking with me or what. I'm pretty sure it's a glitch. I'm hoping it's a glitch. Well, I'm not hoping it's a glitch because then, I mean, the game's fucked, but. Hey! Walk. Wait, what? What the hell?
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Okay.
Coda would often tell me that
walk
he didn't
him?
mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
You made me walk all that just to tell me that. Game motivation. Okay, thank God. Ready, set, fish. That's the last thing I'm gonna be ready for. You don't need to prepare yourself for a fishing simulator. Also, how are you gonna fish in a concrete hallway? That doesn't look like fish at all.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
I don't know. That looks hard. I'm not one for puzzle games. Oh, that's not it. And now I'm trapped. No, or not.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
3 dots.
We're gonna see it a lot.
What are you talking about, Claire? I don't do puzzle games. Never.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Yeah, because that worked great last time. Move forward, jump, duck, control, left, interact. I don't know. Ah, that was the whole fucking reason. Enter works now.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing.
Fuck you.
I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
You didn't miss
Either way,
much,
I think
guys.
that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
I don't know. You haven't told me yet. Hey, this thing again. And I can't walk. You kidding me? I can't walk. Oh, it's now over there. Okay. Everything's fucked up now. That's weird. Everything fucked up. You're now exiting.
Aha! So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
It seems like you broke into this dude's computer and are trying to analyze his garbage. That's what I'm getting out of this. Alright. Looks like a 7 Days to Die house.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Exactly.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making.
Oh,
You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
so you like teaching me game development, or are you talking about your buddy here? Like, I'm a bit confused. Because either way, I don't like it. Also, the fuck am I going? Makes me want to develop a game so no one has to play this again. Jeez. You know what? Fuck it. Really? I could have just did that. Alright. Oh, and there's glass. Okay. Can barely see it, but there's glass. And there's still glass. Alright. Oh, so I'm literally cattle now. Nice. Awesomely. Fuck. See, I am cattle. What? Yep. Cattle. Cattle, cattle, cattle.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Sounds like hell on
I
earth.
think we're gonna skip that.
Oh, I do not mind this. Fuck that game.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
You got no life, buddy. Sounds like your friend Coda doesn't either. Also, what kind of name is that? Hey, there's that 3 dots shit again.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
I wish I could hear you over the music that's blaring in my ears for no reason. True, that's very true. Yeah, alright. Oh, great. And I can't even go up there. Listen, speak, listen.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Yeah. Now it's important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? I prefer not to tell you. What? You don't understand. We're trapped here. That puzzle is our only escape. We need to get through it. Think you want to get through there? Trust me. Oh no, but I do. We do. We need to get through. You understand this is the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. It must be an ending. I promise you, there's nothing I want more. I don't give a fuck. Cool. I'm getting out of here. Looks like you ain't. Is that supposed to be a furnace? And my headphones are beeping at me again, saying you're low. Deja vu. Really? Nah, I've been here. Why would I sit in black space? That music is so loud. So annoying. Go on, get out of here. Kind of.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level. it's a lamppost.
Indeed.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think.
I don't want
I think
to know
that
what
up
you
to this
think.
point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no
Horrible
clear
games.
purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something.
Or you just like the
He
lamppost.
wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's
Easy
a
to render
destination.
in, very simplistic.
We're going to see it in the work as
Pre-made.
well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
I beg to differ. Shit's getting weirder. What am I playing right now? Like, what is this? Game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Nice or not?
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this,
You
but
beat this
this
game.
game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda.
Oh
This
shit.
was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right
From
away, I was
California,
like,
you don't want
I
to
have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was
This
over
makes me
enthusiastic.
sad.
But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Thank
Either way,
God.
to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
I think you're overthinking this.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That
No.
in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him.
Not
And
really.
I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Y'all need some therapy, buddy. Whew. Or at least to get out some more. Good damn. That's what you're thinking right now? Fuck it, can I just... No.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games
Sure you
represents an
will.
idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together.
Alright,
To
Max.
grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Sure. Whatever you say, buddy. Now what? Yeah, why not? Is there? Please say something. I'm not reading all this. It's too much. Speak. I forgot I'm hiding all the text behind me, please.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
That's how Twilight was written. By a lonely video game developer. Okay. Neat. Same picture, why not? Empty room full of. Oh,
See, like,
fuck.
this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway.
Okay.
Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Not cool. Okay, my furniture's gone. That's cool. Giant hole in the ground. Aw, that's not a giant hole in the ground at all. 10 stoves lined up along the wall. Or couches, that works too. I think we should light up this room. Yeah, put a Tesla coil in each corner. Gabe doesn't listen at all. And a table. You need a table. Tables were made in 1935. I like it. Alright. Yeah. I'll see stack your
There's a
furniture.
bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Yeah. It is.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Please walk forward. Follow the instructions carefully. First, click on the table. Sure. Good. Go over to the photo frame and click on it. Now turn the floor lamp in the room off. Then turn it back on. Now go to the left side of the sofa. Touch the shelves. That's it. You're a real person. The escape will not reopen. Return to the start. Back for a bit. You ain't missing anything.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on?
How's it going,
But
Hard?
Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going.
I don't think it's going to
It's
raise.
awesome. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Can we get rid of this damn reticle? I mean, come on. It's fucking annoying. Phone booth. Alright, we're going Doctor Who. And now I'm stuck. Hi there, Art. So we're trapped in prison too? Yep, it was
It's a
French.
conversation.
Yeah,
And
I
so
realized
this
that.
is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows.
But he programmed
But the
it.
irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
I get what the game's trying to do, but it's just annoying. I've been at this for nearly an hour. I might as well keep going. Might as well finish the damn game. Do I have to check it now, Baz? That was pointless.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay,
Alright, I will.
wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice if we were both- I'll take anything to take myself.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Alright, snow. I like
To me,
snow.
this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Look at that, I'm going inside. It's cold out there. Hey! You spilled your juice. Tisk there, Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
2 months? This little shit? Like, I'm slow, but damn. Clear table. I don't want to clear a damn table. Why do I have to make your bed? Make your own damn bed. Lazy fuck. Yeah, I know. Music not too horrible, even if it is repetitive. So I'm running around cleaning. Game about cleaning a fucking house. Yay.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment
No, it doesn't.
after a
This is
particularly
boring as
difficult
fuck.
or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Indeed, you can hear me. It does, right,
I know
Hayes?
that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Get me out of here. Damn. Guy is a fucking weirdo, huh?
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
I'm sad that you find this entertaining.
But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Stay alive, yeah. Getting on is probably what kept me from killing myself or ending the game, you know.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right?
No.
That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Quote what? What did I even say? I don't even know.
This one gets a bit goofy.
What, that last one wasn't? Okay. Did you come here today? Why did you come here today? Get a better job, live your life, make relationships more meaningful. No! You came here to be perfect. That's not true. Okay, I'm over here now. You gonna teach me how to I want your friends, people. I'm not reading all this. Alright, Art.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
Whoa! Yeah, it does. Dear God.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
1 second. I had to quote that. We'll get to that later. An eye thingy. That looks more like a black hole. Okay, I can't go up there. Why am I saying all these random things? What's... This game is making me tired.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have.
How so?
You assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully
I've
human.
never once thought that
I
about
think about this game
anybody
a lot these days.
in my entire life. Not once.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Maybe he just got bored of making shitty video games. That's annoying. Can I exit stay left, please? Exit. Damn. First, leaning against the wall, alright. One by James Dean. To dream to... What? Go say something to her. What's up? Where's the bathroom? What am I doing? I'm asking where the bathroom is. Do it again. Share all my hopes and dreams. Y'all. Fuck the game, this is fun. What am I supposed to be doing? Messing it all up again. Why is that the most entertaining part of this game so far? Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
Do what now?
But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Yeah, because you realize what a hunk of shit that was. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Exactly, Ace. The dude's trying to go for a deep, dark meaning, whatever, It's just not working. What's going on? Here they lie? No. That can't be good.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Shoot that shit! Damn is right. Oh, I'm about to die. 5th time's the charm. Let's go up this elevator. Sure, it's the same elevator. Oh, it's a lamppost. Okay. Truth. My work is always fun. Sure. No, that isn't truthful. Alright, so don't hit that. Now I gotta die again. Great. Just great. I gotta go up there and I gotta talk to that guy. That's the solution. Because there's a giant door hurtling at us. There we go. Can't keep making these pieces of shit. I'm out of ideas.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing.
I don't know what you're talking
Here
about.
was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Yay.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months
going to hell,
before he
aren't I?
finishes something new.
Yeah, I'm going to hell. That's cool. Where did this island come from? Is that a person? How lovely. I don't see a person. Oh, that's someone talking to me. Okay. Sure. I don't know. Pick the most depressing thing you can think of. Why not? Sure, I don't even know what I clicked on. Always go left. Well, that doesn't sound good at all. Yo, bring me there, bitch.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes
Deal,
playing
sir.
this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
Pass the time. He's
'Cause
bored.
from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with.
So
He
get
had
off
no
your ass and go
outlet to vent
outside.
himself on.
You just said the problem. He's sitting at his computer all day, not doing much. Doing the same shit that makes him depressed.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers.
That's
Then
why I say
there's
get
no
off your
movement.
ass.
Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Whoa, alright. Indeed they are. I really should be reading all this out loud, but I don't want to. Whoa, alright. That worked.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
What?
This is someone I really cared about.
You
And I
just
used
met
to
him!
get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop
Exactly,
more than
Ace.
anything.
I do want it
It
to
never
stop.
felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to
Breathe it.
stop.
So,
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
and then gives it to you. So if he's so goddamn lonely, how come he has you? This guy who's playing all these shitty games. Hey, the machine, finally. I am the machine. Guard. What's up, guard? Oh, I'm gonna be brutal. Call the press, you might have a better attention. Blah, blah, blah. It's called subcode. Oh, really? Really? What's up? Paparazzi, I know, everybody loves me. Hey, look, a machine. One ugly machine.
And of course, it's the machine.
Can I jump on it? I cannot. What'd I do now? What was that? So. Yay, I'm allowed to leave. Hey, what's up, press? What's up? You're not my friends. Y'all getting some bad news. She ain't gonna apologize. Sure. We gonna destroy that thing. What? Alright. Sure, back here. Really? Now we're gonna shoot up the opera? Oh, John Wilkes Booth? Jeez. Still no audio on that.
Remember, you can click to fire the gun.
I really did. That's what it wants me to do. Got it. Yep. Die, Lincoln. It's like the eraser in Photoshop. Go ahead and get some here.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell
Really?
you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games.
Sounds like
It
you
might
need help,
get him
buddy.
out of isolation.
I knew that was coming. I feel like this is a fourth wall breaking thing on purpose. But it wasn't. The game just froze. Broke. I feel like that was on purpose, but... because I've never seen anything like what I just saw. Message-wise. So I'm just going to go ahead and reload that. No, I need to redo this. Great. Yeah. No, I need to redo this. It said there are too many bullshits going on, or I don't know. I didn't quite read it. Probably should have. But that was weird. I don't know if you guys saw that on stream. Yeah. We gotta get through all this shit. I'm just pressing random buttons at this point to get through this as quick as possible. So, bear with me. There we go. That was quick. Yep. What's going on, man? Is that a raid? Is that a raid from the Caster Daily Show? Again? 2 days in a row? All I see is Levi. I can't tell if I'm being raided because I can't see my actual Twitch chat. If so, thank you very much for that raid. I'm playing yet another weird
So now the
game.
work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to
Appreciate
myself.
that, bro.
I'm thinking that
Oh yeah, look at
Coda's
this.
stuck in his
Hero
own
count
head,
skyrocket.
and that it's having a very negative effect on him,
What a guy.
and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might
What
get
a
him out of
guy.
isolation.
Okay.
And so
Yeah, it
as
did
I'm
just
thinking
glitch
this,
last time.
I realized that I could be the one to initiate it.
Fuck you,
Because
Twilight.
it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral?
Yeah,
Would
that's
it
how you
give
get
him
rid of
confidence in
loneliness.
himself?
Yeah.
Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Oh, fuck this room. The one that took me 7 hours to get to because my key bindings weren't set because the game didn't automatically set them like normal games. And okay. Yeah.
So I
alright.
started showing Coda's work to people.
I'm falling.
I took this one,
I'm falling.
and the islands which you just played,
Yep,
the theater,
I'm
the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external
They
reference
loved his
point,
games?
but they genuinely loved his work.
People are
There
dumb.
was nothing for him to be afraid of.
I mean, I'd be pretty afraid of the ridicule I get from the games that he made, because damn, they sucked. I mean, they sucked. Put down your weapon. I don't want to. I don't want to do that at all.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do?
No.
Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling.
Sounds like he's got a lot of
Absolute best
self-confidence
feeling.
issues.
It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
I'm good, Buzz. Thank you for calling me Gark. I'm good, Buzz. What's going on, man? How you been?
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this
They're
is
dark.
June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made.
Yay, the game's almost over.
So let's
I mean,
take a look.
oh, bummer. Jay, isn't there already a game called The Tower? Don't look like a tower at all.
And this is where
Didn't
I
have
wasn't
glasses
saying
on.
anything meaningful about Coda's work.
No worries. Buzz,
Because
I'm
more than
just
anything
messing with
else,
you.
the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself
Looks like
from
the
the
damn
world.
Ministry of Love.
It's a very cold game.
I like it. Is he gonna end this game saying like Coda killed himself or something?
This room actually has a maze in it.
Ow.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then
That's just
every
fucking
time you
annoying.
touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable.
Yeah.
The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
Well, let's do this.
But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Hey, this time, hopefully enter will work. Hey. Room ain't that empty. Only a screwdriver.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to
Sucked.
actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever.
And I
I
would
had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end.
Thank God you did.
But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate.
It failed.
What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
Who cares?
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him. But I couldn't.
Wait.
I still don't really understand why this is
It's-
here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Man. I was gonna say 0001, 2. Alright, so 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7. Override, alright. Ride's over, alright. Jumping down a hole, alright. This game is boring.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door,
Why would
meaning
you
that
do
it's
that?
literally impossible to solve from this side.
Why would you
So
do that?
even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress.
Thanks.
And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't
You are a failure.
fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so
Damn right you
let me
can.
do that. Was I a failure for
Yes.
not understanding this game?
I already said that, yes.
I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution.
Yeah, it
But I
does.
feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
Matthew McConaughey?
I remember, it's June of 2011.
Oh,
I'm playing
right.
this for the very first time. And as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I
Yeah.
have no idea who this person is.
Seems like all you do is play
It
shitty
wasn't
video
the guy
games.
I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for.
Without
I
actually
asked him
talking
so
to him.
many times to
So
please
much.
just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
You know, I was actually wondering that. It's funny because I did notice the 3 dots a lot.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy.
Hey, that's a cool quote.
It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I
Why?
needed to be someone other than me,
Wow, you do have
but he
self-esteem
stopped
issues.
and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed.
Big time self-esteem issues.
Where did I screw up?
Do you want me to answer alphabetically or chronologically? Dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my game.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games,
Nice.
aren't I?
I
It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
And you ruined it.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Wow, you really have some.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all.
I like this quote.
Nothing. Less than nothing.
I want a picture of that.
What does that mean?
Just that. He killed him calling it. So, yeah.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
I knew it.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And
Wow, you
so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me?
It's the reticle.
Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some
Shit's
of whatever it
getting
is
closer.
that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Okay, that just went 360. Big time. Also, hi Dragon. What's going on? Grand Central Station? Yay, a train. Platform 9 3/4.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more.
See you, man.
It's like a disease.
This dude's fucked up in the head.
Solution.
Okay, yeah, no, totally. Alright, yeah, sure. Now we're at a McMansion, why not?
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate.
Sounds like you're desperate,
Wouldn't
buddy.
have told so many people that he was depressed.
Sounds like you're depressed, buddy.
Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Yeah, leave him the fuck alone. I said from the very get-go, this dude's overanalyzing him.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll
Which
hate
disease is this? Bipolarism? Schizophrenia? Dissociative personality disorder? Inferiority complex? All of the above. Now we're in a cave of pillars, because why not?
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
You're a loser. Okay.
What now?
Really?
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna...
Cool.
Okay.
Damn. Neat. This is gonna be like Star Fox, you get a better ending if you go through the arches. If you get that reference, I love you guys. Hole in the ground. Well, you know I'm jumping in that shit. Woohoo! Okay, hole in the ground is now an elevator shaft. Why not? Let me go. Is that gonna keep going, or no? Damn. Hey, back at the terminal. So, this game is fucked up. Still better than Starbow. A lot better than Starbow. Hey, that thingy. Am I gonna glitch out? Come on, tell me I'm gonna glitch out. I thought it'd start floating in junk. Oh. Oh yeah, I am. Cool. Oh. Is that it? Nope. Whoa. That looks like fun. Exactly.
Turn back
Really? Really?
You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going.
Alright then, well, that was the beginner's guide.
And miles and miles. And you're so tired. But I know.
Yep, pretty much. Okay, I do not want to listen to this girl rant. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and shut you up now. Make it a little easier for everyone. Well, that just happened. That just happened. Yep. I'm at a loss for words. I was so excited for this game. I thought it was going to be completely different. That was one big drama rolled into a ball of this annoying narrator. I get what they were trying to do. Doesn't mean I liked it. At all. So, yeah. Tripendicular is not the appropriate word for this game. I can't think of an appropriate word for this game. Bad. Bad. So, Levi just rated me. To anybody left on Twitch, we're gonna rate somebody. I got 4 people on YouTube. We could rate someone else on YouTube. I mean, Pudge is on. Let's rate Weapon. Do that real quick. He's playing Elite Dangerous. He's a good guy. Alright, see you, Levi. And then, who's on YouTube? Anybody on YouTube right now? Apart from Pudge. You gotta sign in because YouTube's a bitch. Just check real quick. Probably not, but. Yeah, JT's there, so. Alright, we're gonna raid over on YouTube Weapon, but on Twitch we're gonna raid Weapon, but on YouTube, go check out JT. Oops, posted it twice. Go check him out over on YouTube. Besides that, guys, I'll see you next time.